In this episode, we're excited to take you along on our food tour of the 6 specialty restaurants aboard the Norwegian Star. We'll dive into the unique flavors of Cagney Steakhouse, Teppanyaki Hibachi, the Bistro French, La Cucina Italian, Moderno Brazilian, and Ginza Asian restaurants. Please remember to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you are updated when our upcoming episodes are released. We've got plenty of valuable information in store for you. Today, we kicked off our cruise in sunny Lisbon, Portugal. Once we boarded the Norwegian Star, our first stop was the restaurant reservations desk at the Ginza Asian restaurant to book all 8 specialty dinners we planned for our 25-day cruise. We made it a priority to make a reservation for our first dinner on the ship that night and decided on Teppanyaki Hibachi-style restaurant. From our past cruises, we know that the main dining room and buffet can get pretty hectic on embarkation day, so Karen and I like to start things off with a nice meal at a specialty restaurant instead. Since we wanted to attend the sail-away party from Lisbon, we made a 5:30 p.m. reservation to ensure we didn't miss the stunning views as we set sail. If you ever find yourself leaving Lisbon, definitely take the time to enjoy the sail-away. It's truly a sight to behold. Afterwards, we headed over to the reservation desk at Ginza Restaurant, where we waited to be escorted to our table at the Teppanyaki Hibachi restaurant, which is accessed through Ginza. When we sat down, we received a menu to pick our main dish and dessert. In the specialty package, everyone gets a soup, salad, main course, and dessert. Since there's just one option for both soup and salad, we all enjoyed the same: miso soup and seaweed salad. The miso soup featured a flavorful dashi base with mushrooms, tofu, and wakame, seaweed. It was served hot and had a nice flavor. The seaweed salad was a bit smaller than we expected, consisting of seaweed, cabbage, and a few thin cucumber slices topped with a tiny piece of tomato. The ginger dressing was a standout, and we really enjoyed it.
And of course, welcome to the most quiet and romantic restaurant on board.
For entrees, there was a variety of options including chicken breast, New York strip steak, and seafood like shrimp, sea scallops, and calamari. Each dish came with fried garlic rice and grilled veggies, while vegetarian choices included grilled vegetables and udon noodles. We each received 2 dipping sauces, onion and creamy mustard, adding a nice touch to the meal. We both went for the combination selections. Karen picked the kamakura, which features New York strip steak and chicken breast, while I opted for the Ito, a mix of sea scallops and jumbo shrimp. The fried rice didn't quite hit the mark for us. One of the guests at our table had a dietary restriction and requested her meal with minimal salt, so the chef prepared all the vegetables and fried rice on the hibachi with that in mind. Karen loved the taste of her steak and chicken dinner, which was cooked to perfection. I also really enjoyed my sea scallops and jumbo shrimp. The chef really nailed it this time, not only with the food, but also by entertaining us with his singing. And our entrees were cooked and seasoned perfectly, exactly how we wanted them. For dessert, Karen chose the green tea cake topped with cashew nut brittle and a scoop of ice cream. It was a sweet touch to end the meal. I opted for the fresh fruit sashimi, which featured a mix of exotic fruits that weren't as exotic as I hoped, though the presentation was quite appealing. The lychee was a nice surprise though, adding a hint of uniqueness. Overall, we really enjoyed our meal at Teppanyaki, and we're glad we chose it for our first night on the cruise. At the end of this video, I'll rank all 6 specialty restaurants that we visited during our 25-day journey on the Norwegian Star. Feel free to share your favorite NCL specialty restaurant in the comments. La Cucina is the ship's Italian restaurant, and as we settled in, our server presented us with a warm loaf of Italian bread, accompanied by a blend of herbs, olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and freshly grated Parmesan for dipping. We took our time, exploring the menu while enjoying the crusty bread dipped in the flavorful oil, setting the perfect tone for our Italian dining experience. Karen opted for the calamari fritti as her first course. The crispy calamari was served with a flavorful house-made marinara sauce and a lemon wedge. We both agreed it was quite tasty. I went with the mozzarella caprese for my appetizer. The dish featured creamy mozzarella slices, topped with freshly ground white pepper, a drizzle of olive oil, and a sprig of basil. The heirloom tomatoes paired perfectly with the mozzarella, being both fresh and well seasoned. For her entree, Karen chose the pappardelle al ragu di costine di Monzo, a dish suggested by one of our servers at Ocean's Pub, who also worked at La Cucina. The pappardelle was cooked just right, and was generously topped with tender braised short rib, a rich house-made tomato ragu with aromatic sofrito, and a sprinkle of pecorino romano cheese. I opted for the classic Italian peasant dish, pollo cacciatore. The chicken was slowly simmered in a tasty blend of fresh tomatoes, rosemary, garlic, peppers, and onions. It came with a side of rich, creamy, buttery polenta that complemented the dish perfectly.
So I had the chicken cacciatore today, and it is really, really good. The polenta is soft and buttery. The chicken is perfectly done, tender. The sauce really just tastes delicious. Perfect.
For dessert, I went with the tiramisu, which had a delicious mix of ladyfingers, espresso, and mascarpone cream. Karen chose the torta di ricotta con crema al limone, a ricotta cheesecake topped with lemon curd and some milk chocolate sauce garnish. Both desserts were packed with flavor, and we really enjoyed every bite. We were pleasantly surprised by our meal at La Cucina. Given the not-so-great reviews we had seen before dining, we didn't expect to enjoy it as much as we did. The only downside was our server, who seemed to be MIA and wasn't very friendly. However, the delicious food entirely made up for that. Cagney Steakhouse is the top specialty restaurant for a Norwegian cruise line, and is a hit with guests on their ships. If you didn't manage to snag a reservation before your cruise, don't stress. More spots become available when you embark. While we were being seated, we saw that the kitchen was right in the dining area, allowing guests to watch their meals being prepared. The atmosphere is pretty lively, with the kitchen noise and tables close together. So if you're after a quiet dinner spot for a conversation, Cagney's might not be the ideal pick. We began our meal with a warm loaf of soft, fresh bread, accompanied by whipped butter. While the bread was good, it felt a bit ordinary, and we found ourselves wishing for a herbed or flavored butter to elevate the experience. During our 25-day cruise on the Star, we ate at Cagney's twice, once on each leg of our trip. On both occasions, we sampled a variety of appetizers, including the lobster bisque, which was elegantly served with a drizzle of creme fraiche on top. Karen found it to be creamy and flavorful, with a pleasant lobster taste that wasn't too strong or fishy. However, she was a bit let down by the absence of any actual lobster pieces in the dish. I tried the grilled thick-cut bacon, accompanied by house-made barbecue sauce, and I was impressed by the generous portion size. The bacon was smoky and exceptionally thick, and the rich homemade barbecue sauce complemented it perfectly. During our second visit, Karen opted for the baked onion soup topped with a Gruyere cheese crouton. It came out piping hot and had a lovely light golden brown hue. The soup was flavorful and didn't disappoint. Karen and I both tried the jumbo shrimp trio, which arrived on a bed of lettuce, complete with a lemon wedge and a classic cocktail sauce, just like you'd find in a traditional steakhouse. The shrimp were marinated in herbs, giving them a nice flavor that matched well with the cocktail sauce. Even though we felt the shrimp were a bit smaller than jumbo, we were still happy with our choice. During our initial trip to Cagney's, Karen and I both opted for the ribeye steak, requesting it to be cooked medium rare. When it arrived, it was prepared just as we had asked, but we found ourselves somewhat underwhelmed by the quality of the meat. While the flavor was okay, the cut was a bit gristly, and the texture didn't quite meet our expectations. It certainly didn't match the standard of steak we typically enjoy at a steakhouse. On our second visit to Cagney's, I tried the slow roasted prime rib with au jus, ordering it medium rare, and it came out cooked just right. This was a premium black Angus beef cut, and while it tasted decent, I've definitely had better. I thought it lacked seasoning, and it didn't quite match the tenderness of other prime ribs I've enjoyed. Overall, it was just average and not something I'd rave about. Karen tried the petite filet mignon, asking for it medium rare. The steak was cooked perfectly, and while it had decent flavor, it didn't have that melt-in-your-mouth tenderness you'd expect from a beef fillet. The truffle mashed potatoes were definitely a highlight among the sides we ordered. They were rich and creamy, packed with bits of truffle that made each bite delicious. The truffle flavor stood out, making them the best side dish we tried. However, the serving size was quite small, so they aren't really meant for sharing. The truffle fries were a big hit. They were crispy on the outside and full of truffle flavor, making them vanish from the table in no time. Plus, the serving size is generous, so there's plenty to share. The cream spinach was delicious, featuring a smooth and creamy texture that made it really enjoyable. However, the portion size was pretty small, only about half a cup, which isn't enough for one person and definitely not meant for sharing. The steamed broccoli was definitely the most underwhelming dish of the night. It was pretty bland and didn't have much seasoning to make it stand out. Honestly, I'd probably pass on it next time. The sautéed garlic mushrooms were rich, buttery, and packed with flavor, making them a delicious addition to our meal. They complemented the steak perfectly. Karen ordered the OMG Caramel Butterscotch Cheesecake twice during our cruise, and her experience was a bit of a roller coaster. The first time she tried it, she was absolutely thrilled by its rich, dense texture, reminiscent of a classic New York-style cheesecake, making it one of her favorite desserts on the ship. However, her second experience was disappointing. Although it looked the same, she found it tasted like a blend of panna cotta and a no-bake Jell-O cheesecake, lacking the authentic cream cheese flavor and texture that she loved. The disappointment continued when we tried the cheesecake in the main dining room, which also had the same artificial taste. Intrigued by the inconsistency, we asked our server at O'Shea's about the raspberry cheesecake on the menu there, and he revealed that the recipe had recently been changed. I'm curious if anyone else has noticed this change. Let us know in the comments section. I tried the raspberry creme brulee with Florentine crunch and a chocolate twist, and it was bursting with berry flavor. The custard was super smooth and creamy, but I was a bit let down that the caramelized sugar on top didn't have that satisfying crack when I dug in. You've got to try the 7-layer chocolate cake. It's incredibly rich and packed with chocolate goodness, making it a dream for any chocolate fan like me. Honestly, it was the highlight of my dessert experience at Cagney's. Our server welcomed us and walked us through the Brazilian steakhouse experience. She told us to start off by checking out the salad bar, and once done there, we could signal to kick off the meat service.
So, like a typical Brazilian restaurant, your coaster starts out on red, meaning don't bring meat. When you're ready for them to bring around the meat, flip it over to green.
The salad bar is loaded with an impressive 43 choices, featuring a variety of veggies, cheeses, and meats like salami and prosciutto. You can also find soups, such as lobster bisque, along with salmon, sushi, and different types of bread. It's a complete meal by itself, and for anyone who prefers plant-based options, there's more than enough to satisfy vegetarian and vegan appetites. Once we finished our appetizer and our plates were cleared, our server brought us bread and a selection of side dishes. A must-try is the pão de queijo, a Brazilian cheese bread that is simply delicious. Its dough is both chewy and cheesy.
All right, we're at the churrascaria. Don't turn down this bread. Look at that. Nice little cheese puffs. Fresh and warm and cheesy inside. Good.
In addition to the cheese bread, we enjoyed the gaucho sides, which featured white rice, black beans, garlic mashed potatoes, sautéed mushrooms, and fried yuca. We turned our card to the green side, and soon enough, servers started bringing skewers of meat to our table. There were 9 different types of meat served continuously, including New York strip medallions, flank steak, picanha, bacon-wrapped chicken breast, Parmesan chicken drumettes.
Good evening. Hello. Ma'am, sir, would you like a pork loin?
Yes, please.
Pork loin, Brazilian pork sausage, and pork belly. The highlight of our meal was definitely the cinnamon-crusted pineapple brought out in a skewer. It was so delicious that we couldn't resist asking for more. Even though we were stuffed, we still opted for a banana caramel tartlet with fluffy meringue on top. We had a nice experience at Moderno Brazilian Restaurant. But was it our favorite spot on board? We'll see. Ginza is the Asian specialty restaurant located on the Norwegian Star, offering guests a unique culinary experience that showcases the rich and diverse flavors of Asian cuisine. The menu features an array of dishes inspired by various Asian cultures. The server let us know that the appetizer menu featured a half portion of sushi rolls, so I opted to sample 2 different rolls. I went for the ahi tuna roll, which had a mix of tuna sashimi, spicy tuna, spicy aioli, garlic ponzu, and chives. And the rainbow roll, packed with crab, tuna, yellowtail, salmon, shrimp, cucumber, and avocado. We gave the 5-spice chicken lettuce wraps a shot, featuring ground chicken blended with mushrooms, garlic, water chestnuts, and a flavorful soy sauce, all served with romaine lettuce leaves on the side. While the filling was decent, it just didn't stack up to the legendary lettuce wraps from P.F. Chang's. Karen felt the romaine leaves were a bit too thin and long for wrapping. A wider, more flexible lettuce type would have made wrapping easier. The char siu barbecued spare ribs were tender and incredibly tasty, featuring a mouth-watering Asian barbecue glaze. To offset the richness of the ribs, the dish included a side of pickled cucumbers, which added a nice contrast. We finished off our appetizers with the crispy barbecued duck spring rolls. Stuffed with shredded cabbage, scallions, and rice noodles, they came with a delicious peanut hoisin dipping sauce. We loved how crispy and flavorful they were. For her entree, Karen opted for the Kowloon black peppered beef and broccoli. This dish featured 3 large pieces of wok-seared New York strip steak, paired with broccoli, onions, mushrooms, all served in a rich black pepper sauce. I went with the Emperor sea bass for my main course, and it was a real treat. The fish was steamed to perfection with soy, letting all the flavors blend nicely. It came with bright bok choy, and a touch of ginger and cilantro on top added a fresh kick. A drizzle of sesame oil brought a rich, nutty finish that really brought everything together. I went with the 5-spice steamed chocolate cream for dessert, topped with flaky sea salt and paired with a crispy sesame phyllo crescent garnish. Karen chose the lychee spring rolls for dessert, which featured a sweet lychee filling wrapped in a light, crispy spring roll, came with a side of vanilla ice cream and a honey dipping sauce. We were pleasantly surprised with our meal at Ginza. It totally exceeded what we were expecting. The big question now is whether it will take the top spot in our list of the specialty restaurants on the NCL Star. Le Bistro is the French restaurant on board, offering a distinct ambiance that sets it apart from the other specialty dining options. The upscale and classy setting makes for a memorable dining experience. Over our 25-day trip, we enjoyed Le Bistro 3 times, and each time our server would greet us with the menu and soon after deliver a basket of warm, crusty French bread slices, paired with butter on the side. Karen and I enjoyed sampling all 6 appetizers available on the menu at Le Bistro. During our first trip to Le Bistro, we both decided to try the escargot à la bourguignon, which is just a fancy term for snails cooked in rich herbed garlic butter. I couldn't resist using the fresh French bread they brought us to soak up every bit of that amazing garlic butter sauce. We both absolutely enjoyed this dish. Since we were in a French restaurant, Karen had to order the soupe à l'oignon gratiné, a classic French onion soup that's made to perfection. The rich beef consommé gave it a deep, savory taste that balanced beautifully with the sweetness of the caramelized onions. It was topped with a generous layer of Gruyere cheese, melted over French bread croutons. I chose the soupe aux 4 champignons for my course, and it was a deliciously creamy mushroom soup served right at the table. The smooth texture combined with the deep, earthy flavors from 4 different types of mushrooms made it truly enjoyable. Having the server pour it at the table also added a nice touch. Karen treated herself to the cromeski de chèvre, which are delicious goat cheese croquettes. They were perfectly complemented by colorful beets, crunchy Granny Smith apples, and topped with a fresh layer of arugula, offering a nice mix of flavors and textures. We also gave the Belgian endive salad a try, which came with Roquefort cheese crumbles and toasted walnuts. The way it was presented was stunning, and that Roquefort dressing, absolutely delicious. I just wish there had been a bit more of it. Finally, I have to mention the steak tartare au couteau, which featured hand-cut beef topped with a classic garnish, and it came with a side of grilled baguette.
So at Le Bistro, having the steak tartare as one of my appetizers, it is excellent. It's really good because it's not really finely ground, it's more like diced or finely diced.
During our first visit, we both opted for the filet de boeuf, which is a beef tenderloin served with fondant potato, mushrooms, and Perigord sauce. Since filet mignon is French, we felt it was a must-try, and honestly, it turned out to be the best steak we had on the entire trip. While Cagney's is known for its steaks, we found that the finest cut was actually served not at the Steakhouse, but at the French restaurant. The presentation was quite a showstopper, with our server unveiling the dish under a shiny silver dome, adding a bit of drama to the moment. The food was cooked just right, so tender that a butter knife could slice through it. And we truly enjoyed every single bite. On a subsequent visit, Karen decided to try the coq au vin, a dish featuring red wine braised chicken, mushrooms, potatoes, pearl onions, and bacon. When the server unveiled it from under the shiny silver dome, Karen was in for a surprise.
You didn't get anything.
The dish was plated right at the table, transforming this classic French peasant meal into something extraordinary, tender, juicy, and rich in sauce, showcasing the French mastery of flavorful sauces. Also unveiled under a gleaming silver dome was the filet de salmon. This perfectly cooked salmon filet was topped with a luxurious black olive tapenade. It was served alongside zesty crushed lemon potatoes, garnished with artichokes, tomato confit, and zucchini. A dollop of pesto brought the dish together. The salmon was flawlessly prepared, flaky and moist, ensuring that each bite was perfection. Karen enjoyed the Ile Flottante, a delightful airy meringue pillow floating in a pool of vanilla creme anglaise and topped with a raspberry coulis. It was incredibly light, yet rich, making it a truly divine treat. The presentation was stunning, with the perfectly chilled vanilla creme beautifully complementing the fluffy light meringue. Since I loved everything chocolate, I ordered the Marquis au Chocolat. It was a fun and indulgent dessert with a surprise presentation, almost like a chocolate hot dog, which gave us a good laugh. The rich chocolate flavor was spot on, and the crispy rice in the middle added a nice crunch. The Chambord raspberry sauce on the plate was delicious, and the little touch of gold leaf on top brought an air of elegance. Overall, it was a fantastic dessert that combined luxurious dark chocolate, a satisfying crunch, and a hint of raspberry. I had the Foire Belle Hélène and was blown away by this gorgeous dessert. It consists of poached pears soaked in fortified wine, perfectly spiced, and comes with a scoop of vanilla ice cream and a drizzle of warm chocolate sauce. The way the server pours the rich chocolate sauce over the dish right at the table adds to the wow factor. It's definitely one of the most sophisticated desserts on the ship. Karen tried the Fraisier, a combination of fresh strawberries with diplomat cream on a soft almond sponge cake, all topped off with a delicate layer of pistachio fondant and a touch of dark chocolate. It was yet another dessert that looked as good as it tasted. I chose the Assiette de Fromage, a dessert cheese platter that showcases an array of flavors. This selection includes camembert, goat cheese, Roquefort, and Munster, with each cheese contributing its distinct personality to the ensemble. The blend of textures and tastes is a treat, perfect for savoring alone or complementing a glass of wine. Karen and I highly recommend Le Bistro, especially if you're celebrating something special, like an anniversary. It has a cozy, intimate atmosphere that sets it apart from the other specialty restaurants, making it ideal for those memorable moments or for anyone wanting a more refined dining experience. And now, the moment you've all been waiting for, our rankings of the specialty restaurants on Norwegian Star. So please remember, this is our opinion and it's based on our experiences. Your experiences may have differed and your preferences may differ, so please don't be offended if we don't rank your favorite restaurant very highly. In first place, and by a lot, is Le Bistro. The service, quality of the food, and the experience was simply unsurpassed each time we ate there. In second place, and a clear second place, was Ginza Asian. We were really surprised with the quality, quantity of food and the service. Third place was a close call between Moderno and Teppanyaki, but we had Moderno slightly edging out Teppanyaki because of the variety of food that was available, especially at the salad bar. In fifth place was La Cucina. La Cucina gave us a nice, pleasant Italian dinner. The service could have been better, and the variety of food could have been a little better. And unfortunately, in last place is Cagney's. We really did not enjoy our meals at Cagney's. The steaks were below par. We've had better meals at chain steakhouses in the US, quite frankly. After our first disappointing meal at Cagney's, we did give them a second chance, but really they performed no better. So overall, they deserved their last place finish, at least on our cruise. If you enjoyed today's video, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when our upcoming episodes are available. Our next episode is going to be 6 days in Lisbon. It was actually the 6 days we spent before this cruise, and you'll see our adventures and we'll review some of the places we ate while we were there. Your subscription to our channel really encourages us to make more videos like this. See you next time. Cheers!